What's going on, everybody?
Okay.
How we all doing today? We are live from the dark side right now. Hope everybody out here is doing okay. We coming today, we talking about a few things. We got our main topic today is religion. We're gonna talk about religion. Probably gonna offend somebody.
A lot of somebody's.
That is what it is. I mean,
I am that offender.
my man Martin will have several disclaimers to do. We gonna talk about free agency. We gonna get off like we always do on everything we want to damn talk about. First off, we gonna touch on the free agency. Everybody know KD going to Brooklyn.
Hold on, man.
Kyrie going to Brooklyn.
You dropping the ball still.
Can I do this, please? I had my whole intro planned out, but of course, this light-skinned ass pitted motherfucker in here won't interrupt me.
Look,
So
I didn't even say anything on nothing.
To my left is my man Chris March.
What's good, people?
To my right, IQ,
I see you on lighting.
Aside Bussy,
Blaze one, job blessings.
and Lord Vader Cole.
I am your father.
Now, Lou. I'm your boy Raw with words of wisdom. So today, is that okay with you, Mr. Bussy? Is that all right? All
That's
right.
good. I won't have to pay God. There.
So,
Damn, I did let
oh, and the page guard is not here. Through no fault of anybody, but I hope he's tuned in.
He is.
Okay. So, let's go into this free agency market. We have some. How many of y'all finna be Brooklyn Nets fans that were not Brooklyn Nets fans?
Everybody who was everybody who was a Knicks fan.
Everybody who thought
Yeah.
he was going to the Nets. I can't find it. But KD going to the Nets.
Nets.
Kyrie going to the Nets. DeAndre Jordan going to the Nets.
Which DeAndre Jordan are we going to get out of that?
That's the question. Which one? You gonna get the 2015 DeAndre Jordan? You gonna get the 2018 DeAndre Jordan?
I prefer 2000.
Honestly, I mean, if he could, DeAndre could make himself a pretty decent role player. But he doesn't have necessarily need to be dominant, especially who else is on there?
KD and Kyrie. He doesn't need to be dominant. No, he
All
doesn't.
he needs to do is play defense and get
All
rebounds.
he needs to do is stand in the middle. Really just
He needs to be the Brook Lopez of that team.
Right. But the question now is, can he do it?
He probably could. He know he couldn't fucking. I got it. I'm on it. You got yours?
I can't find it so now.
You need some help?
Trying to start a watch party,
I got it.
but it's not working.
No, go ahead and share mine, yo. Shit.
So, all right, turn it down. Turn it down. We got people here who still can't follow directions and turn this shit down.
Is it March again?
And I did the same damn thing.
Oh. Do as I say, not as I do.
We have some of our non-tech savvy folks here. I don't know what the hell they doing.
Well, you know he did just turn 45.
Yeah, he did, so he's over here. He probably still looking for it over the phone.
They call you old school on the court down? Oh yeah. Then you definitely old school.
Yeah.
Oh, he ain't even touching the paint. Oh, he's straight old school.
Straight shooting. But I feel like Brooklyn got a shot. Who else they got? I have no clue. D'Angelo Russell is going where?
We don't know yet. Looking like the Lakers though.
Looking like the Lakers. Why is talking to Magic about the Lakers?
He's not talking to Magic.
He is talking to Magic. He reached out to Magic Johnson to get some info on him.
Well, that just means that he ain't gone.
Well, it was supposed to be in the Magic and the GM, but due to free agency terms, he couldn't talk to the GM at that time. So it's possible I don't feel like they got enough money. Not for what he wants. Because, of course, he's a champion.
He's a champion
He
and
wants
an
to make-
MVP,
and
Finals
MVP.
MVP.
He wants
Two
a max
times.
deal.
2 times
And
Finals
I don't think
MVP.
he's going to take less than a max deal.
You should.
Because he can get a max deal.
Kawhi needs a home. I think the balance of the NBA is going to be dependent on where he goes.
Think
Why
so.
should take his monkey ass to the Lakers and win about 2 more titles? LeBron got 2 more in him, at least.
He'll get one.
And I don't even like the motherfucking Lakers.
He might get one. I don't like
I'm a
LeBron.
Hawks fan as well.
But I do like LeBron James.
I don't. He's good. I don't take nothing from his.
I don't.
What?
Charity time.
Charity chime ins.
Y'all best to like him because LeBron is the Lakers.
Yes, he is. But that was you.
No, he's not.
The Lakers.
Kuz is the Lakers because he's the future.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
They
And
doing all
that
this-
comes
they did all
from
this
a
shit.
Laker fan.
They did all this shit cool. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
they did.
They got to set him up for the experience to get to where
Yeah.
he
They
his
trade
potential.
Everybody,
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, but it's about him.
He wasn't going to be traded.
He almost got traded.
He was on the block.
He did.
He was on the block.
Everybody was on the block in a bag of fucking fire Cheetos and shit.
But it didn't happen. And everybody's sleeping on, to me, the Hawks. Hawks had a good draft.
They had the Hawks had a real good
I
draft.
like what they're doing as well.
But I don't never speak to it. I don't speak to the forward.
Because-
especially with my Hawks.
They're cursed, just like the rest of the Atlanta teams that can't win.
Look, don't start that shit.
No, listen to me. Mind you, when I lived in Atlanta when they built Ted Turner Stadium.
And Atlanta team, 2 Atlanta teams have won. Braves have won. And
But-
Celtics team.
This soccer team has won.
The soccer team that won when the curse was first there, the soccer team wasn't there. So I don't feel like they were entailed in the curse. The Braves won,
The curse is Atlanta sports can't win.
right?
Soccer
Right.
is one of Atlanta's sports.
Okay, well, the rest of Atlanta sports can't win.
Baseball has already won.
In 1995.
Doesn't
Oh, so
matter. Wait a
Wait.
minute.
The
So
curse
you can't-
was put on. Ted Turner Stadium was built in 96, 97. That's when it was put on. Atlanta's last
Who put this
championship.
curse?
The lady who they stole that land from when they built Ted Turner Stadium.
That was the church fund.
I have heard of that.
No, my bad. That's the new stadium.
That was a
Yeah, that's the
old
new stadium.
Creole lady who was upset
Mm-hmm.
that they took her land. So
So
Atlanta has been the best team in baseball how many years? 13, 14 years? From 97 to 2012.
Something like that.
And get to the playoffs, lose they goddamn mind.
That happens.
The Falcons had San Francisco whooped. Came out the second half, I thought they brought Glenn Hills out because they lost their goddamn mind.
Still got robbed in that.
You mean the Patriots?
Patriots.
No, San Francisco before the Patriots. You remember in the
Oh, yeah.
championship, they had San Francisco beat.
Yeah, I tried to forget about that one. I did a good job up until that point. Thanks. Ugh. Mm.
Then comes to the Patriots. Everybody know what happened now because that's still a meme today.
And truth be, I'm shut up.
We're not shutting up today.
Truth be told, the first time y'all really with Jamal Anderson, I honestly believe y'all really wasn't supposed to be there.
Well, that's coming from a cowgirl,
No,
so
no,
take
hold
that
on,
with a grain of
hold on,
salt.
Mm-mm.
Hold on, racist team. Hold on, racist team.
Ah.
I had to change my team
You know what I'm saying?
because of that bullshit.
No, I want to hear your theory about this. I want to hear how you
That's
got
what
to
I
this.
wanna know.
I'm so intrigued right now.
I feel like that they should have won.
That year,
That part.
the Broncos won, correct?
Yeah.
John Elway last season.
But what's the name got caught
So,
up with?
I mean,
He got caught with.
That was actually supposed to be.
Got caught
That was
with
actually supposed to
that
be.
threw him off. Who's the one
Just a
that-
tuggle.
Was it just a total?
That threw
They got caught with the holes at
Just a tuggle.
at Super Bowl and it kind of fucked everything up for him.
He got suspended for that game. It was just a tuggle.
That's what fucked them up. Right.
Our number one defensive player.
And defense wins championships.
They ran all over us.
They ran all over our asses. That shit was
A lot of
ridiculous.
but a lot of people, I think it was.
forgot that Jesse Tuggle got suspended for that game.
No,
I was thinking.
I was overseas. I was in Norway watching that game. The only Falcons fan there. Boy, it was eye catching hell as we was getting our ass stomped. Man, that shit was rough. I still did dirty. What you call it?
Dirty Bird.
Yeah, I still did dirty bird.
You should
Fuck all of it.
have got some additional compensation for your disability for that shit.
I'm still talking.
That was mental turmoil.
I'm still talking shit.
Yeah, you got PTSD from that shit.
And I don't know why y'all giving my boys such hands. Them boys scared.
Who that?
Cowboys.
We're gonna be more scared this year, especially since we got rid of that damn.
I want to see what y'all gonna do.
offensive
Yeah, I want to see what y'all gonna do.
Jesus Christ.
We got rid of that bum.
That should have happened. That shit should have happened on week 3 last year.
That nigga was terrible.
Horrible.
He was.
Oh my God. We went from the
So-
best offensive coordinator in the league to the motherfucking worst offensive coordinator on the
Who's
planet.
coordinator now?
Shanahan.
So is that an excuse?
Our Shan- oh, the father Shannon?
No,
the son Shanahan.
the son
We
Shanahan.
got the son
No,
Kyle Shanahan.
no. But when
He said who we got now.
oh, who we got now?
His offensive coordinator.
Shit, I don't even remember his fucking name.
I know it's not him.
It's not him, and that's an upgrade.
Did Dirk Cutter? Did we get Dirk Cutter?
Man, you about to make me. I can't Google it because I'm doing a watch party.
He was for the Steelers, I think. I'm about to look it up.
Ah,
You might be right.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I chose, as you know, I had to pick a team. It's hard, but I went with Cleveland for the simple fact that Nick Chubb pulled my son out crowd at the G-Day game and signed his jersey. I'm sold.
Cleveland is cursed too.
Let me ask you this though, about your pick. I don't know much know if I asked you this when you originally threw it out there that was going to be your team. How long are you going to ride with this wagon?
When I pick a team, I'm right. Unless they do some bullshit like San Francisco did.
Dirk Cutter. That's right.
Now, mind you, I was a San Francisco fan long time ago. Since I was not, I ride. When I pick my team, I ride.
No, I know. But that's San Francisco. This is Cleveland.
Right? And I know.
This is Cleveland that we're talking about
I
here.
know.
You know, they
do look good.
They look great.
A
look.
lot of teams that look great.
Cleveland is one motherfucking miscommunication away from moving to another city at any point in time.
So, the Raiders is one season away from moving to another city. So let's not go there.
Coach Hyman's. I think that's a strategic move. They worrying about the big one for when California falls into the ocean.
Number one,
It could happen.
California ain't going into the ocean.
Shit.
At some point, California is going.
California, at some point, Las Vegas will become beachfront property.
They have all the scientists that do these things that predicted at some point
There will.
it's gone.
It
Soon.
could be, but it could be next year. Could be 100 years.
It could be between now and 120 years from now,
But it's going to happen.
but it's going to happen.
That ain't why the fuck they moved to Vegas.
Why not? It's beachfront property. Vegas is beachfront property at that point. Beachfront. Your stadium is on the beach, nigga.
Ain't no way.
Who else stadium on the beach?
Yeah, because think about it. If California fall off, that desert gonna become a whole lot better.
A whole lot
Tell
big.
you what, they put they goddamn shit on the beach
It'll
and the
get all
storm
that
come through.
exposure.
I feel sorry for California.
California don't get hurricanes like that.
California gonna fall off. California, y'all gonna fall
Ain't,
off.
but
And it's not even that, because y'all might burn the fuck up before you fall off.
Nah, then there's
that
that
shit
shit. Might
had
be covered in
shit
mud.
to do
Yeah.
with why they moved.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, Rob.
Hey, how many football players had to go check on their house when it was on fire? When the shit was on fire, man.
Fuck, I know.
All of them.
All of them. Because California catch on fire all the time. Every year, California catch on fire.
At least twice,
At least twice.
minimum.
God don't like
So,
California.
so what's the next excuse?
God don't like California.
Okay.
Think about all the places that have shit happen to. The only other place that's even close, God don't like California, you don't like Florida. You be trying to fuck them two places up every
Yeah.
year.
Look, look.
You know what? I tried.
You know what he did with Florida though? You know what he did with Florida though? Not only did he give them fucking hurricanes and floods and shit, he got them fucked up people down there too.
Yeah, you got people down there eating folks.
Eating motherfucking foes.
And
Naked.
Charlamagne Gone say all the crazy people in the world come from the Bronx and all the Florida. So same thing. If you watch ATL, not ATL, Atlanta, Florida man. Every time you watch news, Florida man did some dumb shit. So all you Florida fans, Sorry, y'all some assholes. Nobody.
Hey.
It's like Bugs Bunny used to say, it's a great place to visit, but I
We wouldn't want to live there.
It is what it is. Yeah, all kind of.
Hey man, quick topic change, man. First time in history, in my history, that you ever heard a killer coming out of Utah.
Who the fuck stays in Utah?
I heard about dude that burnt that girl in the backyard.
I don't know.
Who up there?
Has anybody been to Utah?
No.
You've been through Utah. I've been to Utah. And let me tell you, I went to Salt Lake City, the biggest city in Utah. Salt Lake City is off the chain. However, when I went to Utah, to Salt Lake City, the only motherfuckers in Utah at that time who were persons of color were me and Carl Malone. That is it.
So apparently we don't live in Utah. If any of you live in Utah,
But peep this, the killer was black.
So it's three.
So now that 3 motherfuckers from you who done been to Utah. This is bullshit.
That's military cat.
Well, that's why you in the
Because he was
Utah.
You was in fucking Utah because there ain't shit in Utah except for goddamn Salt Lake City.
I give him a pass. Give him a pass. He's in Utah. Living in Utah, man. Apparently driving.
Because you know, every time you hear that shit, black folks be like, oh, please let him be white. Please let him be white. Please don't be black. Turn out to be black, be like, ah.
Okay, this motherfucker gotta be
We
white.
got to have our quota.
We do. We do. We do.
We got to have our 1 or 2 mass killers. We got to. We got to be part of the demographic, unfortunately. I'm not condoning it, so please don't.
Damn.
It's not necessary.
Unless you feel threatened in school,
don't kill
go-
somebody.
if you
There
feel
might
threatened-
come a time where you might need to kill somebody.
Yeah, don't
If you-
unnecessarily.
I mean-
unnecessarily
let's
kill
go with
somebody.
that.
But if you need to kill somebody, kill them most expeditiously.
like go to the school and chain up the doors.
Look.
Speaking of which,
Wait, time out. Don't listen to him.
What he say?
No,
What he say?
he talking about nothing.
I missed it.
I want to
Nothing.
know what he said.
What he say?
What did you
He's
say?
talking so you want to kill somebody, go to the school and chain up the door.
Hey,
See?
All right, Joe
it only
Clark.
takes 7 minutes to ban 7 clips.
Hello, America.
Damn.
Your boy Chris March. Just gonna go ahead. I'm not even gonna get up like I normally do because this is just ignorance. Do not listen to
Hey, yo,
words.
man, it take at least 3 minutes for them to cut the chain off the door.
Do not listen.
Do not listen to him.
Words
You know what I'm
at this
saying?
moment- at this moment because they, in no way, shape, or form, are associated with lies from the dark side.
Nah.
We do not. I repeat, do not.
Gotta smoke the
condone
cigarette.
the
You're goddamn right.
school doors or the killing of people, unless the killing of people is deemed necessary. I will hold that.
Hey, I mean, if that kid keep
That's
getting busted in the
not
nose,
necessary.
and you feel like you need to goddamn go into your mom's dope bag, sniff you a goddamn line or two, go turn on the doors and handle your business. Shit.
Necessary.
The goddamn kid goddamn to get fucked with.
Not necessary.
Okay, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you, America.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, America.
It's
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
I got a question for you
Yes, sir.
because this happened this
Oh,
week.
y'all like?
So
I don't know
my
where
homeboy put up a post.
Oh, damn.
My homeboy put up a post. Shout out to JC.
I just put it in the
Talking about he has a friend. He's been nervous for like the past 5 days ever since he found out that his friend has 5 ways of killing everybody who he knows, if needed. My question to you, sir. See, you're supposed to.
you're not supposed to.
You are supposed to.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. You're supposed to be firm, fair, respectful, but have a plan to kill everybody that you meet.
At any given time, best of friends that we are, at any given time, any of us could be driven to snap for any reason. And no telling what you might do. Or there could be some shit that's going on. Or there could be a number of amount of ways. I'm always thinking about wherever I am, how I can defend myself. No matter
Absolutely.
if I need to do whatever I need to do, I can take him out, I can get to the door.
Right. And if you don't believe that shit, ask Batman.
Welcome to the world of the mind of a woman.
It works for Batman.
Wait.
We are trained that way.
No, this
to
is not
be
just-
This is just
ignorant
life.
the whole time.
This is not just
I don't think like that. Mind you, I find out everywhere I go.
Yeah, that's why I like my back facing
I
the
just
third.
realized that if, like, okay, let's say you're in a public place. Let's say, no, let's put a real world situation. Let's say we have a brownout that lasts more than a week, right? Brownout lasts more than a week. Within 2 days, every shelf in every store around you will be empty. Trucks aren't going to be running like that because people aren't going to be able to cool and take care of food. The society will destabilize. The dark side of society will show itself.
No pun intended.
At any time that things go bad, people show their true nature and people become M. And I know that just thinking of a way to run is not going to be enough because no matter what, somebody is also probably going to be thinking of that same way to run. And I may need to go through that said somebody. So I'm prepared to go through whatever somebody, to the best of my ability, may possibly be standing in my chosen way to get out. I'm not about to alter my path. I'm not about to change my plan. Once I walk into wherever I'm at, I know where I'm at. I know where the door's at. I normally don't see. This is the inside of the house. I normally don't sit with my back
toward the door.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. No.
And if you and people who ever watch the show, if you notice, every time somebody walk out that door, I might stop exactly what I'm doing to see what they are.
Yep.
What they're doing. Just to happen. So maybe that is some of the Marine Corps. Maybe
That is.
my father taught me to always know what was behind you.
Yeah.
My father is armed. So I've been like that for my whole life. You're supposed to, he used to be able to tap, he used to tap me on the shoulder as a kid and say, what's behind you? And I used to have to be able to tell him what's behind you. So I've been like this for my whole life. Now, I guess maybe the Corps furthered it.
Right. It straightened that shit.
But I was already like this. It's not just the military. Or it's not just the Marine.
No, let me say that. My dad was in the military. He used to always say that back is always one part of your body. I always got to watch your back. And so it's not just military, but military heightens to the extent of which you watch your back. Now, mind you, I don't sit with my back to the door. I always know what's behind me. In the private room, my back is to the wall. It is what it is. I'm not military. I'm not cut for the military. I know that. That's why I didn't go.
They don't like short.
See, I was trying to be serious.
In all honesty, you probably wouldn't make weight.
But y'all made weight.
You wouldn't have made weight.
I would have made weight.
You would.
I would have made
Because you're, well, no, you would have been over. You'd ended up being under because they worked you. Then you've been, you're short, and they would make you.
Fuck y'all.
I'm being real.
No, for real.
No, I would have made weight.
I'm telling you what you would have been able to stay in. They probably, especially in boot camp, after you started losing weight, they put your ass on double rats.
Double fucking rats.
Okay, so I would have made weight.
Until they got no face.
Y'all. And then I would have lost that. I would have been done.
Yeah, and there it is, right there.
Once you get my face screaming to holler,
It's a wrap. It's a done down.
can't do it. That's why I didn't go.
We look back on that. We look back on those things and laugh.
That shit was fun.
No,
No,
it was funny
then it was funny
I was
then.
getting more trouble in boot camp for laughing at the drill instructor.
What the fuck are you smiling at, Cole? Sir, nothing, sir.
If you ever get to watch a video, right? I'm gonna tell all y'all ever get to watch, take the time out, go on YouTube and watch Marine Corps drill instructor. Matter of fact, you can watch any of them. They all say crazy shit. Just watch some of the shit that they say. That shit is hilarious.
Fucking hilarious.
They make up words.
They do all
ask you
kind of
questions
shit.
that there is no correct answer to, no matter what your
First of all, that's not even much their real voice.
yeah, you see them
Shit.
yelling, they yell all day, but then you see them like after you graduate, like, how do you talk?
Right. That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it happens. The motherfuckers have been screaming at you and put you through the worst hell the day you graduate. Actually, in the Marine Corps, it actually starts a couple of days before you graduate. A couple of days before you graduate, they start treating you like an actual Marine. They give you, we have a little ceremony, they give you our Eagle Gold Maker. That moment on, you're a Marine. They don't yell at
They
you.
don't even much yell at you no more.
They just talk to you. You sit down, so you don't even hear it. It's not. It's like that whole person. He flipped the switch. He's not that person.
Just click.
Just like that. Oh, they hit graduation. I'm Staff Sergeant James Thomas. We can talk about football, where you going in life, all kinds of shit.
Cole, who's your favorite team? The Bulldogs. You motherfucker, I'm a Florida Gator. I had that conversation with my strong J.
And for me, since my training was extreme specialized, I think like that. But for me, when I combine with a group of people, I let my guard happen. But when I'm in an environment that anything may happen, like your
Didn't
Corona bottle is the way I see what's behind you. The screen that's in front of you. I see everything that's in front of you.
I use the screen.
The shadows they cast in front of their door. Somebody ride by, will make you turn around. Somebody come out the door, I hear the bees, I turn around. But for me, it goes even further from technological devices because y'all all know that.
Yeah.
And depending on how specialized you.
So do you guys know the best way to know that how close you are to the car that's behind you?
That's just pure nonsense.
Look at the reflection of the car from the side. The car is on top of that. Go back.
And if you ever had to shoot at a moving vehicle, aim in front of the front bumper, center mass, use ricochet, come up through the floorboard.
No, don't do this.
There you go. Tech tip. Tech tip.
I'm sorry, that got me going. Hey, wait.
See, okay. The reason I said that, right, is because I do realize there are some unseemly characters in the world, and they will take said information and use said information to do unseemly things. Thank you, sir.
You started this.
I didn't tell nobody.
You started this.
I didn't tell
Okay, but you
nobody.
know his mind does not stop. You know that.
Man, that thing it came from when you locked them kids up in the goddamn school with the chains called.
See, there you go with this bullshit.
You got the kids up in the
You got the kid in school.
That wasn't me.
But that's
It
why.
don't change,
Because
I know.
All the societal real shit. Like,
Yeah.
okay, there's certain things I wouldn't show, certain things that we, as people who have been trained, I would not show to public because
Absolutely fucking not.
I'm afraid of what you would do with said now.
Right.
There's already enough of us that have lost it up here that I am already afraid of. Like, I'm gonna be real. Anybody that has a sniper that's out there in the world today, I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of what you might do. I'm afraid of any time that you might snap because most of y'all, as normal as you may act, something in here ain't right. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't. You have to be not right to be out there to go do what you're trained to do. Like, okay, I'm hardcore motherfucker, but you ain't gonna send me out there by myself. And you ain't gonna send me out there one day.
For 3 days.
I'm not gonna go 15 miles in the enemy line with me in just one day.
That's what this motherfucker did.
I'm not built like that.
That was wrong.
What? Okay, perfect. My point right here is proven. Like, okay, I know if a person like that were to lose it at any given point, people could just start dropping and they're not gonna know how to.
They don't
have
even-
to call another one of these people. To come, I'm being for real. They
No,
have to call another
that's
one of
exactly
these
what's gonna
people
have to happen.
come find you. And sometimes, just depending on how good the one person is, they might have to call 2 or 3 of the other ones to come. So, I mean, we be thinking this shit is some movies. Shit ain't just some movies. I'm just saying. Shit ain't just some movies.
Rambo took out a whole motherfucking battalion.
Yeah, just
Shit.
to expand on what he was saying.
Mass
Because I was actually talking to Ron probably about 2 weeks, letting him know. Everybody was like, yo, Q, you really be in the tent, but we don't see you with no online activity. I'm like, because I ain't built for that. If you done said some shit to me online, and I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to come and find you. So instead of me even going down that path, when you get trained a certain way, it's just certain stuff you don't interface with because you know the potential of somebody really pissing you off. And I'm like, man, people see me on the average, and I'm like, yo, you really don't know the problem. Last motherfucker you want to piss off.
I don't put myself in the hood very often.
Right, so you just,
Exactly.
as well as telling people stuff, you just literally, when you get that training, you monitor everything around. You have to. You don't want to get cut off.
For example, you ever met a DJ who didn't like going to the club?
I can understand that. I don't like going to the club.
DJ who doesn't like going to the club.
Speaking of which, boy, they got that little club right there across from the old Kmart Plaza, whatever the case is, right there.
Yeah.
That was no
706.
Nah, 9706. You come down a little bit. It's across the street from the Dollar General. They got a little club right there now. Right behind Murphy Cross. You know that little plaza, barber shop and shit?
Yeah.
Oh, something
Right up in there, something up in there. Man, I was goddamn rolling back probably about 130-ish, maybe somewhere around in there. Man, I mean, goddamn, yep. Goddamn, cops motherfucking everywhere. Pew, pew, pew. Them motherfuckers was hot last night, y'all. Them bitches was hot.
That's why I be home.
Crowded area. Crowded area.
That's why I got a pool table.
That's why I have various video games.
Yes, they're like,
And on my video game, I can take out all my frustration and kill people in there and suffer no consequences.
yeah,
From across the world.
yeah, kill them all. Like if they would have actually had a school on there, I could have locked all the motherfuckers in it and shot all
Oh
of
my
them.
God.
That's
No, he's not. He would do the shit. He would make if they see that's why I'm glad he doesn't know how to do shit like Roblox. Because see, he be on there like making little schools and then send videos of the shit. Hey, look what I did.
I'm pretty sure my son could do it. He's a Roblox king.
Nah, real shit. Like I said last week, there's some adult people who have some real computer knowledge that's been broken into there. Saw how easy it is to make pretty much anything that make a full scale porno. A Roblox porno.
Damn.
Oh.
Because like I don't know if you've ever been on the game like I've gone on it.
I mean, I like me
You
and my
see them play, but
yeah.
you see when you go onto it, it's like it's a platform.
yeah.
You can go into that platform, and everybody that logs in is their own space.
Space, yeah.
And in that own space, you can do, if you have the knowledge, pretty much
Anything.
anything. So they took somebody who knew how to put some blocks together, and the next thing you know, I'm talking about straight up.
Was it that sound or was it blocks?
I didn't
That's why I love
Follow-up question.
I didn't watch the video.
Who made the bigger titty? Oh, well, then you can't help me.
I didn't actually watch the video. I seen an article.
I need to know about the titties. Shit.
Yes, that exists.
Were they jiggly?
Of course, somebody jumped in and took advantage of it. I'm pretty sure that now Roblox knows that they're going to try to make it, they're going to make it a little more stringent. But once again, there are plenty of people who, even once they make it more stringent, go ahead.
Oh, no. Hello, America. Magic.
They're still going to be able to crack the code. It's still a very simple code. I'm not even a coder. You got to make the world turn. And if you want one of these cool globes, eventually at some point we're going to have this thing called the Dark Side School.
We're going to be selling these globes, as well as other very inventive items.
Like we got one coming to y'all motherfuckers soon. We ain't gonna, we gotta wait till we get some other things before it.
Yeah, 'cause they
But boy, that shit gonna blow y'all motherfucking mind.
Blow your mind,
Blow
yo.
your fucking mind,
Now, back to the subject, the main topic. Let's
Let's
dive into this religion.
This time, America, I do need to be up. Come on, America.
Yeah, there you go.
This is boy Chris March, and we're going to delve into some serious topics today. And honestly, I'm pretty sure it's going to be me this time that's going to say some shit that's going to offend somebody. So I will go ahead and say the views and opinions expressed by me today, Chris March. do not
Hey, hold on, you better-
Wait. No, you gotta do it right. Nah, yeah, you
So
go.
you're gonna have to add.
You gonna
and him.
and
Possibly him.
yeah.
Possible me.
Possibly me.
I'm expecting him not to. But
I'm gonna try to be the.
well, okay then, fuck it. Do it like this. Y'all just gonna have some tough skins because I guess the views and opinions are going to be shared by all of them. So, buckle your motherfucking seatbelt. It's fit to come on.
Yeah,
I like that disclaimer. That one was nice.
that was awesome.
We're going to dive into religion. Everybody has their own personal belief, and really, that's what religion is. Religion is what you choose to believe. Whatever religion you choose to believe, of course, every religion has its ups and downs. I think
No,
they like some shit. They make me nervous because once again, they behind me. I'm not cool with them being behind me.
No. Just tell them this some rest of shit. No problem.
Today.
Religion is what you choose to believe. Me, myself, I am a Baptist. I believe in God. And that's just me. Everybody at this table does not share my views. But I won't bash anybody for their views because
I think you're being stupid. I'm sorry.
And we
I'm sorry. I don't even believe that, but he laid that one out so well. I just could not.
he did. I
It was
did.
like somebody
I
put out
opened
of
the
you.
door. I opened the door and he
Perfect out of here.
Kick that motherfucker in.
I could not resist.
That fucked up Paul.
I did.
Like your head is
I did. But I'm a Christian. I believe what I believe. He has some views about mine. He does as well. I don't care what they think. It's not gonna change my mind. It might change y'all. He has some views about every religion. I'm really nervous about giving him the floor today.
I will not say anything unfactual.
Okay, but that don't mean it's gonna be nice.
Facts, the thing about facts is facts don't have to be
Right.
So when I'm speaking facts, I don't have to be nice. If
Right.
you get mad at the facts that I speak, I don't really care. Now, if I say anything that is untrue, feel free.
Nope.
Feel free to contest me. Where do you keep watching? Why does all right end up?
Religion, to me, has been twisted and changed for man to benefit man. Now, I believe in the Bible. It is what it is. He does not. Not all. I ain't gonna say he don't, but it's parts of the
I
Bible.
believe that if I were to be able to access the action,
But
I would.
who can nobody can access the actual Bible
Why?
because it has been manipulated by man.
Oh no! It's
Wow,
still
yeah,
here.
they got
No,
documents.
no, it's still here.
Yeah, they got documents.
Wait,
Yeah.
The Vatican.
This is no.
once again,
This is no joke. This is
No,
This is no
he's
joke.
real.
This is actual fact.
Okay.
The Vatican has whatever are the closest versions to the actual Bible down in their vault.
but once again,
That was written on
has been
papyrus.
manipulated
by man.
Well, no, those. Well, if we're gonna believe, okay. We're gonna go on the
Those
principle of God.
actual ones have not, but what comes out is what the Vatican picks and chooses to come out.
The reason I have issues with the Bible that we know of and read at this time during my lifespan, once I learned that one, we had King James, right? King James is the most notable Bible that we all are reading, everyone that is a Christian reading today, right? King James, I'm not even going to go to question his preferences. I'm gonna leave that part alone. Just to be nice.
I ain't.
Let me.
Sorry.
But it is also well known fact that King James was not happy with the way the Bible was written when he came into power. So when he came into power, he gathered his personal chosen what would you call transcribers and interpreters and people of the such, and they wrote the Bible, and whatever came out didn't come out until King James approved it, which once again is King James' version of the Bible. Now, with that being said, once I know, well, one, men of power have always used religion as a form and a means of control.
Yes,
That's
it is.
exactly what King James has done. That is what Hitler did. That's what most hell, you can take damn near any cult leader. They use their personal whatever religion it is to manipulate people. And in that fashion, you can actually look at religion, the idea of religion. Not all religions can be encompassed in this, but by definition, you can look at religion as a cult or as a cultist type of thing because of they expect you to believe. You're supposed to. It's based on pure belief, and you are manipulated by the leader of said belief. With that being said, once I knew how much the Bible had been manipulated by man and for what purposes, it called into question everything that you were taught from the Bible. Like if you have a direct question from the Bible, right? Yes, a lot of times you can pull up a verse or a chapter of a verse, and it could have something to do with that subject, but it's very rare that you can ask a question and go to the Bible and pull a direct answer. Because every chapter and verse is written for interpretation.
Right.
So I could interpret it one way, your preacher could interpret it one way, this preacher could interpret it one way, this preacher over here could interpret it one way, the person sitting next to you could interpret it one way. So let me pose this question. A friend of mine made a post last year. Post was, maybe it was a year or two. Post was, can somebody tell me exactly how to get into the kingdom of heaven? What exact things can you do to get into the kingdom of heaven? Give me chapter and verse. Now, of course, plenty of people jumped on and gave chapters and verses. They were all different chapters and verses, but none. If you really listen, there is no direct thing because everything. Interpretation. Every verse is like a story. It's not like the Bible is a. They say it's a direction book, but it's more like it's like a collection of stories.
It's supposed to be your basic instructions.
It's supposed to be your basic instructions, but it's basically stories that, once again, you have to one believe, and then it's two up to your interpretation. So what if you're interpreting it? What if, or how about all the people? What do you think the KKK quotes from the most?
The Bible.
What do you think Hitler used to quote from? The Bible. Get my point?
Right.
So,
But because you have those that use the Bible in their own wrong way, does not make the Bible.
the information and how it was put there.
But it's all about who interpreted the Bible. Hitler used it in his
No,
own
it's all
way.
about who interpreted it from the beginning. Is my point.
Right.
No, it's about who interpreted it now.
Like-
Hitler
like-
didn't
like-
use the Bible the way it should have been. He did. The Bible says thou shalt not kill.
Actually, he is wait, before you even get it, because Hitler was using the Bible as King James intended, as a form of control. You cannot despise. You cannot. I mean, you can believe in the Bible, and I'm not telling anyone not to believe in the Bible. But once again, I'm not going to say anything that is not factual. King James reinvented the Bible to serve his purposes. These are well-known facts, and yet we still read and believe everything in it today. Now, you can interpret it however you choose to, and you can believe still what you choose. But I have a problem with trying to interpret information that I knew was like, okay, if you put bad code into your computer, you can't expect to get a good program. You can't expect your apps to work if you put bad information in the computer. You get in what you get out. You get out what you put in. If bad information was already put there, and we've been learning from bad information all this time, and then you discover that you're learning from tainted information, a logical mind.
So why is everybody not doing what Hitler did?
Well, one, everybody just can't be successful in doing what Hitler does. But if you
Right.
okay, I mean, I can go deep into this because
If
you can say most preachers are using the Bible to their advantage.
Exactly.
Not all. I'm not saying all preachers are bad, but you cannot sit here and tell me there is not an overwhelming number of preachers who use the Bible solely to line their pockets. They're using the Bible for a form of control the same way as everyone else's Bible. They to different levels.
There's levels to this shit.
But I'll tell you something that, for me, I study all religions. So when most people are asking me, I'll be like, I'm a Muslim because I don't believe in one creator. That don't mean you believe in Islam. Islam isn't a religion. Islam simply means studying the way of peace. And it requires you to read everything from the Torah, the Old Testament, New Testament, and form your own interpretation. Because in the Quran, it tells you straight up, there is no path to finding the way to heaven. Period. It tells you to find out who Jesus is. It tells you Jesus. In the Quran, there's a whole verse wrote on Mary because she was the first immaculate conception, not Jesus. Mary was born from parents who never had sex. That's why she was chosen to have Jesus.
Didn't know that.
Now, how many people at this table have seen Constantine? The little movie.
I saw it.
Yes. You do know he is responsible for picking the canons, which are the original symboling of God's word. That he picked which ones is going to go on the Bible. He chose to leave out what Jesus did when he was growing up. That's how come he skips from being a certain age,
From 13 to 33, is it?
Yeah.
because from the canons, you can find the canons online and look up. And then I would say, I use Rosetta Stone so I can learn how to read Aramaic in Hebrew. That way, I don't have to read about a translation. I can read it in its original language. Rosetta Stone, you can start off with free. There are plenty of apps and stuff online for you to learn another language. So while you watching twerking videos and shit and everything else stupid on earth, you could be learning to read the language.
Right before you pick up your Bible.
Right. So you can actually read the book without saying, I'm going to let it get translated into some language that it wasn't wrote in. Keep it pure. You want to be 100? Seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. You want to learn how to read the Bible, learn to read Hebrew. It is what it is. But we don't have, most people say we don't have time to do that. Here's the logic for me. If you spend time learning to read the language that the Bible was wrote in, you wouldn't be doing the bullshit that you're trying to go to church to pray about, because you'll be spending your time learning to read the book you're supposed to be studying. So when you look at the canons of Jesus, I hate to say it, and this is going to probably piss some people off. You might want to issue a disclaimer.
No, we already did.
Oh,
You're good.
for those people who don't know, in the original text of the Bible, Jesus was a badass little boy.
Like most of them should.
When Joseph was at the river with him, he told him, this is Sunday, you ain't supposed to be working. He got mad. He made a dove out of clay and blew life into it. He was on a building with his friend, and him and his friend got to arguing, and he pushed him down.
And notice how they've changed the meaning of how doves and how the symbolization of doves were used by Jesus, from him being bad to what they are known as now, the symbols of hope and peace and all that.
Yeah.
Again, and information.
But then when you actually look at the canons that are still in Ethiopia, that are still in them caves, the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's so much information that's being kept from us to actually know the actual path to finding peace or inner peace so you can be that good person. They want to make sure they twist it and contort it so that we stay at each other's throat and man can use it for his own power. Because that knowledge is the power.
I have something that'll blow all y'all minds. Now, not knowing as many of y'all people. As much as I go in on religion, I come from a very religious background. I was raised in the church. I believe in God, and I still believe in a creator. I just don't believe in certain things after I attain a certain level of knowledge. Let me put that out. My father is a preacher. We have these discussions often. Here's something that let me just get y'all to put in your pipes. Now, let's say we have the old time, right? I mean, way back, men are cave dwellers, having stuff with fire in it, out here living that little life, we moving over here in the sticks, eating wrong meat, while we had gold, right? No, not gallbladder. What's that?
Appendix.
Appendix.
My bad. Appendix. Sorry about that. Why we have appendix that we don't need today because we started cooking our food all the time. Everybody was like, hey, they're cooking your food. Shut that down. Why it shuts down things you don't need. With that being said, let's say what we know as the creator, what we know as God, is just another life. Because, okay, say you're the cave dwelling speech, the cave dwelling monkey, right, with the stick. And then some dude comes down, something comes flying down through the clouds, shows up flies down on the earth, shows up, gives you all this knowledge, shows you how to make fire. What would you look at it? What would you call it?
Alien.
Huh?
Aliens.
There was no word for alien. The word alien didn't exist.
The word was God.
The word was God. How do we know that what we know is God wasn't just the presence of extraterrestrial beings, which wouldn't change what we know? It would just change how we know it. You feel what I'm saying? Like every culture on this planet has some of these same exact things, but there was no way for them to communicate that knowledge. How? When you can explain that, it wasn't, oh, God was sending ideas all the way to what we. It could be what we know is God. But notice, like, okay, people here. every culture up to and including the United States itself has pyramids in it. Pyramids built to almost the exact same specifications, the ones that are built in Egypt. Pyramids that are all intersecting on magnetic and ley lines, and built to the stars to a specification that today we still cannot make.
Yeah, can't figure it out.
They're about to come out with a show on Discover about if we built it today, and they're going to try to figure out.
They're going to try to figure out how to build the damn pyramid.
They built with no known tools and no known technology to make cuts so precise that we, with our lasers right now, cannot cut them that precise. How? How was that done in Egypt, South America, North America, China,
India,
everywhere on this planet? Everywhere on this planet that there are people up to and including Ant motherfucking Antarctica, everywhere there are pyramids. And all those pyramids, if you look at the magnetic and ley lines and star charts, they are all
lined up and connected.
So what we may know as God might be extraterrestrial. Same, it could be the same difference.
But the simple fact, that just might be God.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying. You giving it to extraterrestrial, why can't it just be God?
Because, okay, if it's extraterrestrial, right, that rules out the being of one creator.
But if they're all the same, apparently
That's not the same thing.
But it's not possible, because if that was the case, they will all
That's a
follow.
culture.
They will all follow the same God. There wouldn't be different religions.
My father is also a preacher, and we also have had that conversation. And for me, the reason I started, now listen to what I say, started studying Islam. It's not a religion. It requires you to study. It requires you to study a bunch of stuff, and it just gets typecast by some assholes on TV. But anyway, we have had a discussion about that outside extraterrestrial entity that might have had influence. And that is one of the reasons I started studying Islam, because it addresses that in the Quran. It's beyond just the word of God, from explaining what the earth really looked like, the fact that we actually go around the sun, the clouds, all different kind of clouds, to a 0.1%. It predicted the land-water ratio.
Do you realize the math involved in that?
And this was a book wrote by a guy who couldn't read. So he was getting his knowledge from somebody who came to talk to him. So that has always been one of those theories. But like you said, how come it just, even if it was extraterrestrial, we would call it God?
That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what he said.
We wouldn't have any other way to describe it. We wouldn't even know, right?
Because if you ever asked anybody, what or who is God? They say no question. That's a response.
They say don't question.
But
He
think
is
if
what he
it
is.
was from another universe or outside our universe, it still would be your creator.
So now I have another question for you, since you said why can't that just be God? One of the reasons is, okay, now every culture on this earth has the same thing, right? But they did not have the same symbol. Why didn't they see the same God?
if you look at it, where's the metabolic main religion? The same spot.
That's
To
just,
me-
well,
to me-
to the knowledge that we have.
Right. But to me, once again, man manipulated what they wanted you to know. Once again, religion is your belief, what you choose to believe.
But why is that specific area, Mecca, the hub of three major religions?
That's the area they were doing.
I know the answer.
My bad.
I know the answer. You got to think about how many people wanted it. You had the Europeans with the Crusades. You got the Jews just trying to come and take it. And you got the Muslims who were already there. And it all really started with the Crusades. Oh no, by all means, go right on ahead, sir. You know me. I'm just peeking in and here and there.
The ruins of the various cultures. Which one one has been the most untouched because it was sitting in the middle of the desert? Which one has been able to yield the most information? It's where you get the most amount of information becomes the method.
Which
So
one
it
has the
doesn't
most?
necessarily mean
Which one has the biggest population surrounding it overall?
So where the greatest amount of it's just like, let me use the airport as an example, right? Take Delta. Delta is a big airline, right? Delta has hubs. So that could have been hubs is where the largest amount of their aircraft interchange in one place, the biggest airport, right? At the time, or actually that's been the biggest airport basically that our scientists can find and study. So all the knowledge that we have attained, all the greatest knowledge that we have obtained is based in that area. So yes, because it was the place that the stuff was there still. Like a lot of these places, some of these Egyptians were so far buried that it took people a long time to go over there and get it. But it was the closest to where all the people was, whereas to come to South America, whereas to go to Antarctica, whereas, saying to go to places where there weren't a lot of people, that the people had remained in their culture the longest. Like, think about it. You go into the woods, you go into the jungles in South America, there are people who have never seen. They're not like a lot. I mean, even some of the most deepest African tribes at this point have been met by civilization, whereas you go to some of these other places, you can't. So there's a good possibility that the same amount of knowledge is at all these places because all these places were doing the same thing.
It's just accessibility.
The accessibility that we had was to that one area. So that one area,
and that one area is,
and because the information we gained from that one area is what we based all of it on. Everything in that area was information based on that area. So if we would have found it in South America, I guarantee you the Mecca would be in South America. Or if we would have found it, because ours is in the Great Lakes, under the Great Lakes. We would have found it up under the Great Lakes, Lake Michigan. One of the big.
It's in Lake Superior.
Superior, whichever one, the deep ass lake, 2 or 3 pyramids down there. If they had found it, they were able to get it. It's underwater, so obviously they can't get in there. And even if they could, whatever's in there is real. The ice, you can't get to the ones in the ice. It's too much of a monumental effort. The desert, you can make a way to survive the desert. Plus, we already have the benchmark of the people that are still living there to this day. The nomadic tribes and all that helped also.
There ain't no Mayans. There ain't no Aztecs.
There ain't no Aztecs, just like I said. And then the Indians, who also were passing along their stories, they were all wiped out. Yeah. The only ones left, the ones that they couldn't wipe out because there were just entirely too many Africans.
And for me, when I look at Christianity or Judaism or people who believe in Islam or Buddhists or whatever, one of the biggest hindrances of everybody uniting is language. Right. Once the Bible, the Old Testament, New Testament, the Torah, once they were converted to English, their original text, most of it started in Aramaic or Syrian Arabic. I don't care how many movies you watch, they always be like Jesus speaking Aramaic, which is Arabic. So that meant even when he referred to God, he said Allah. It is what it is. Fact is fact.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
This is something we forgot. Everyone that's watching, as always, if you feel you got something to say, please feel free to comment, chime in.
Some comments is dry and I don't have nothing to read.
Normally y'all have something to say, join in on us. I know some of y'all are probably disagreeing or agreeing. Let us know.
And a lot of people don't want to touch the subject. That's why we're doing it.
That's exactly why we're doing it.
Because this is a lot of information that a lot of us don't know. And I mean, of course, by all means, do your own research, draw your own conclusions.
That's the best way to go on about it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to go on about it.
See, that's the key. Learn. We got to do our own. I say all the time, you got to do your research.
Because I mean, just think about the relationship between the average Christian and the person they might hate who is Jewish or Muslim. If the actual entity, all of them pray to, call the same name, but they change the language and make sure. When we were brought here as slaves, one of the first things they made sure we couldn't do was talk to each other and read. They found that out.
They were doing it, they killed.
It's right. And they
On the spot.
And they figured that out by simply going, I'm gonna make this book that everybody should be reading, or everybody is reading, we're gonna put it in our language, make sure we stop communicating. So when they change the Bible from Hebrew or Syrian Aramaic, change it out of Arabic, it was like, yo, we gonna make sure they can't talk. Because I was talking to this Spanish guy, and he was like, they refer to Jesus as Jesus. Does that mean it's a different dude? It just means they speak in a different language. So whenever somebody usually says, when they refer to Allah, in Arabic, there is no one word for God. There's just one word you use. But in Islam, there is no one word for God. There's a song you can sing that you can sing for hours describing the facets and the properties of who God is. But there is no word for God in Islam. Allah is just the most familiar phrase. Yeah, that's what Jesus said, because he spoke Aramaic. Jesus didn't speak English, and he could have been called Jesus, because J wasn't
even much on letter.
So it's like that's what keeps us separated. Language is a huge barrier when it comes to us uniting as far as like going, okay, when we identify with who is our creator or what our creator is, language will create an instantaneous barrier that me and you supposed to be friends. Because that's what it's supposed to be about anyway. A path of peace. But you can't be peaceful if I'm arguing with you over what I'm supposed to call it about. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I refer to you by your wrong name, then you got beef.
Right.
You know? So that's one thing that I see when religion started to be divided. That was one of the biggest keys, and it was like, yo, we're gonna make sure. Even when they refer to the Temple Mount.
Okay.
When you look at that scenario of what was the reason behind splitting languages, how would you identify with that as a Christian? When they speak of the Temple Mount and the splitting of languages and the splitting of tribes, and us not being able to communicate, did you say that it was the correct analysis to go, we're gonna make sure you don't try to be God-like by making sure all of y'all can't speak the same language? So as a Christian, I always wanted to ask a person who's a Christian, how do you feel about the Temple of God? Do you think that was something that was injected into the mold, or do you think that's the way it really happened?
Because I just don't see nobody take the time to build a damn big ass town to the Davis. That's crazy. That's down before they get the atmosphere.
Like I said, there's things and or misinformation.
Yeah. Because I thought that might have been what the pyramids were what they were referring to. As far as like a person standing at the bottom of a pyramid, as far as his eyesight can see, it did reach to the heavens. Because if you've ever been in Egypt, and I told my father this and any preacher I meet, before you buy a Cadillac, take your ass to the Holy Land. Take the whole church to the Holy Land for the same fee you're going to spend on that $120,000 car because you want the preacher to look good. Creflo $50 million jet. Take your church over to the Middle East. Take them to Jerusalem. Take them to Gaza so they can walk to Africa.
Now, you remember what he did? He got his people to pay for him to go there.
Right, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm like, yo.
In a new jet?
Right, you know.
In a new jet.
So your people can stand in front of a pyramid and look up. Because when you stand in front of the pyramids, from your eyesight, it looks to be reaching into heaven.
Yeah, I can do comparisons
Because they couldn't climb it.
No.
But if you're standing there in front of one of them stones, and I literally tried to jab a knife in the crack, and he wouldn't do it. So I was like, the military gave me a chance to expound what I felt spiritual. You know what I'm saying? I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. It's two different things. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to Egypt, I wanted to see the pyramid because I was like, yo, let me check it out. When I was standing there and looking up, I was like, I wonder if that was where they got the Temple of Babel idea from. If you standing in front of a pyramid and you look up, it does look like it's reaching the heavens. So that quest to find out how to make yourself a better person, not listen. The whole act, the church is supposed to be fellowship. Even in the text, it says when two or more meet in his name, it's supposed to be church.
Right.
And that's my problem with most of the people I see that identify as Christians. They don't even read their own book. I know more about their book than they do. which is wrong. And I'm like, yo, if you look at the dynamics of how people just really started singing to their own little cubicle and separate themselves from one another, that's the last thing that Jesus wanted.
Yep. Separation.
The separation. Because he always for the underdog. I don't care what, however many times you read about his life, or even in some of the canon. And when he got grown and when he was out preaching the word, he wasn't specifically telling everybody to be a Christian. Because that original usage of that word was actually meant to be an insult. They walked through Antioch. They referred to them as Christians as a bad thing. To be a Christian actually was supposed to be bad because the Hebrew that worked with the Romans to crucify him actually was like, yo, if you believing in him, you wrong. Because we believe in God and not Christ as the venue to get to heaven. So even the people from the Old Testament and the New Testament, that was their beef. Those are the people that was helping get Jesus crucified. The people from the Old Testament were like, yo, we ain't gonna believe in this dude.
Which hits is my mean. God created Jesus. God created Jews. Jews killed Jesus. God created it.
It's like I just said it.
I just said it. The Jews killed Jesus.
Real talk. And
You
those
know what
were
I'm
the people
saying?
of the Old
And that's
Testament.
sad.
The people who killed him were from the Old
His
Testament.
boy
They were mad.
sitting at the table,
Yeah.
eating fruit and shit.
And
You
that's
see what I'm saying? It happened.
It happened.
yeah, and that sect of Jewish people were believers in the Old Testament. And they were truly upset that somebody else was taking credit for what they perceived to be God's work. And this is historical. I mean, I don't know how come most people choose to say God works in your life and Jesus works in your life every day, but refuse to learn history or even geography. You know how many dudes I had arguments with about where God is sit in relation to Egypt, or where the Garden of Eden, the four rivers that they say, that's Saudi Arabia. So the same area that people bomb and talking about they need to wipe off the place, wipe off the map, is literally where the Garden of Eden said, if you are using the holy text as a geographical, this is a geographical point. And all it would take is just somebody to open a book and look at a map. Or just that globe that's spinning in front of you.
That's a nice globe, by the way.
Literally shows you where the Holy Land is. And that's what I've never understood. How come we in America never want to go to the Holy Land? Like whenever I used to pose that to my grandmother, people I met, how come y'all have never been to the Holy Land? They told me they were scared. Like, really? Like the place where when people say Armageddon, I'm like, that's not a thing, that's a place. Armageddon isn't an event, it's a place of battle supposed to take place. That's in the New Testament. But they refer to Armageddon as a thing. No, that is where the battle's supposed to go in. It is a place you can visit right now, get your brain taken. But that's just the knowledge gathering fact of what you read should be essential, because it'll keep you out of a whole bunch of nonsense if you actually were studying and learning what you were supposed to learn instead of going to church thinking that preacher was going to be your salvation. Because he's just a dude, he's just like me. You know what I'm saying? But people in church actually listening to that dude try to get him guidance on their soul when he's imperfect also. He's supposed to go, you see what we're doing here? That's what you're supposed to be doing in church. I listen to some dude with a little rag. I've been telling my daddy when he up there doing this. I'm like, yo, man, that ain't what church is supposed to be. We're supposed to all be sitting around talking. And whether people want to believe it or not, while we're sitting here having our verbal conversations and debate, this is church.
Yep. Thanks.
It is
Church
what
is
it
where
is.
you are.
It's where you are. So it's like,
Church is not built.
nope. And that's what people don't do. They don't sit and go, just like Chris said, you have one person who may read something and find an interpretation in the holy text. You got another person who can read that same exact thing and figure out something else. They're supposed to have a conversation so they can learn from each other. But you can't do that in church. I mean, I tried it one time, and then I got an ass whooping. I jumped up, and then I told the preacher what I was thinking about the verse he said, and of course my mama pulled me outside, told my ass up, and I'm like, yo, how come I can't do this? How come I can't stand up while he up there talking and literally tell him, hey man, that ain't what I'm feeling. I ain't feeling what you're saying. And then you're supposed to be able to do that. But you can't. And it's like, that's what made me start researching and finding out different elements of something I could be actually involved in. 'Cause I don't know how many times you've probably been in church, but I can guarantee you ain't never seen nobody jump up and tell the preacher, hey man, I don't see it that way. Unless it's that Bible training study. But on Sunday, you ain't gonna stand up in church and tell them, hey, that's the way you feel about it. This is the way I feel about it.
But half of that is just like what you said. They all waiting for him to say it, and they ain't studying it themselves.
Yep.
See, me personally, I believe, God is within self. You get what I'm saying? You make your heaven a heaven. You get it? It's more like, all right, we're already the chosen few. We already the chosen few. Now, I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. You get what I'm saying? I am spiritual, but there's so many things that contradicts what I've been taught. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, okay, I figured something else out, but I'm not allowed to question it. Okay, so that's almost like you trying to brainwash me or keep me thinking one way, almost like a tunnel vision.
And see me, I've never been taught that you couldn't question. I've never been taught.
The majority is taught that.
You know what I'm saying? Majority.
I've been taught to question. So if you don't understand, figure it out. Get some clarification.
But as soon as you do that, they depict that as wrong.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah, they depict that as
Yeah,
wrong.
because just like
It's like, okay,
I mean, the thing about it is folks say, seek knowledge. But what they mean is just read the Bible and believe what it says. They don't like it when you ask questions about what's in it. Like, okay, you read something and say, oh, how come this happened? But in the same book over here, he goes and does this. Now you have questions. Don't question the Lord's methods. The Lord's methods are infallible.
No, a true man of the cloth should be able to explain that. And if not,
But is he going to explain it off of what it is, or is he going to explain it off of his interpretation of it? So now his interpretation of it is becoming your interpretation.
You shouldn't. I feel like you should be able to question anything. And if somebody tells you that you can't question something, then I feel like that's wrong anyway.
like, see, like, case in point. Jesus had, what, 13 disciples? Am I correct?
12.
He made 13. He made 13. All right. Everybody, if I'm correct, had a book. One person book missing. Why can't I hear or read that side of the story? Out of all them disciples, Judas the only one whose book is not in the Bible. Why not see what led him to that path?
We've been told that it's like that.
But see,
It's not left to question.
touche.
Once again, that's our whole point. Is,
Yeah.
A lot of people believe that the book is infallible, therefore can't be questioned. It is what it is. And their answer is, when you ask them the question, read your Bible. But I have read the Bible. I still have the question. There are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of questions. Things that just, like being logical, okay, don't get me wrong. God is supposed to be this all-knowing, all-powerful being. But even with all-knowing, all-powerful being, there are things that happen that are supposed to make sense. And there's a lot of them in the Bible that just don't. Like, okay, how are there still Indians if he flooded the whole earth? The only people that was left was who? Moses and his people, right? So how are Indians?
And animals.
No, not Moses.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no. I get named that.
I know.
See what I'm saying? Like, how are it's just? I could sit here for hours and ask questions on and just little simple questions, little simple, and it's those little things, all those little things that poke holes in the belief system that we are taught to believe. And when you start putting those, and when you start mulling over those things, you're like, well, either something's missing or something's been changed. It has been my logical response. And once I realize something's missing or something has been changed,
Which we already know something's missing though.
I had to start seeking. Why? For what reason? What reason were these stories not being told? What reason is the whole thing being withheld? Okay, perfect.
Right, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Before you even get there, like for example, it was only Adam and Eve. Before she fucked up, ate that apple, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't no reproduction or whatever the case may be. Okay. When they're able to reproduce, who the kids reproduce with?
Because the Bible said he went off somewhere and found a wife. But where'd she come from?
Which
They
comes
were the
back,
only people.
which comes back to say he was not the first one. I can't grasp how we get these people. If it was only two people on earth, they didn't know nothing about sex until what happened.
Who did she get? Once she was cast out.
When Lily was cast out,
Where did she go?
where did she go? All they know is she went westward.
And wherever all these people went, even though they were the only, how did one person go somewhere and then a whole civilization?
Exactly.
People don't asexually reproduce. There had to be
Something there. There had to be somebody
And the Bible
there.
says you can't lay with animals, so that
Did
didn't
that
happen.
it? You can't lay with man. Can't lay with women and reproduce. So something had to happen. Cain killed Abel. Cain couldn't goddamn deal with it. He said, okay, I'm finna run. He runs westward.
That-
But now Cain come back with a wife and got all sorts of kids.
Where'd she come from?
Where she come from?
Why her story into lie? How did she get there? There ain't supposed to be nobody else there.
Must have been a man because you were able to tell.
So wouldn't that be false information?
Or missing
I'm
information.
missing information.
Information, yeah.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
okay,
So-
so my question is, if you have a belief system where you're told to believe, but you know there's all this information that is missing, how is it that you can still believe in that same system?
Wholeheartedly.
You have a choice.
Free will,
You have
Kevin.
a choice.
Free will.
You have
I got a question about free will. God is all knowing, all seeing. The first thing they say is whatever happens, God has a plan. So if God has a plan, He planned for everything that we're gonna do. He planned for everything that we're gonna do. How do we have free will?
You have a choice to follow God's plan.
No.
Yes, you do.
No.
You have a choice to
Obviously,
follow God's plan.
okay. Once again, if He has a plan for you to do what you're going to do, that means whatever you actually end up doing is part of His plan. So where is the free will? Everything we do, if His plan is everything we do is His plan, where is free will?
I get what you're saying. It's almost like, okay, I already know what you're gonna do before you do it. So I'm not even given a choice to even make the decision because He already know what I'm gonna do before I do it. I'm not choosing.
And this is part of my plan. I knew you were going to do this because I am God. I know all. I see all. So I knew you was going to go steal that piece of candy. I needed you to go steal that piece of candy. That's part of my plan. I needed you to go down this path of destruction and end up killing 700 people or doing whatever you end up
But he
doing
gave
because that's
you
part of
the
my plan.
choice to do something.
How? If
He
it's all part of His
He
plan,
knew the
where is the
plan,
choice?
but he didn't. He's not giving you the plan. He's giving you the choice to follow. He knows what you're going to do,
Okay, so
but he's giving
So
you
that's
the
the
choice to make
so-
the right
so-
move.
so
If
you
He
mean-
already knows what you're going to do, if you are, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
If He already knows what He's gonna,
if
you're
you
gonna
believe
do,
in God,
and you're gonna do it.
You got
Where's the
choice?
choice?
If you believe in God, you got to believe in Him. Just like God works, the devil works as well.
That was never made anybody, not even in the Bible, do anything. Never.
exactly. Free will.
Right. You have,
That's
you have the will to choose.
But to go back on what Chris was saying, okay, if he knew if it's in his plan to know I'm going to steal that piece of candy, what happens when I get there and say, okay, well, you know what? I'm not gonna take that piece of candy. Okay, so now you define God's plan.
No, you're not.
How?
Because you're not supposed
If the plan was for you to steal the piece of candy,
But if you don't steal a piece of candy, then how is that plan?
how is that not the plan?
But how was it? If you choose not to. He gave
So you're telling me he had the all-knowing plan, but the plan isn't a plan. And the all-knowing plan that he knows you're gonna do can change at any moment.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, please once again chime in because ain't nobody gonna make me understand how. Once again, there is no choice if it's all part of the plan.
Religion is what you choose to believe. You choose not to believe it. That's your choice. Religion is what you choose to believe.
So if religion
That's
is
the
solely
bottom
what
line
you
is
believe,
what you choose to believe. Is what you choose to believe. That's the choice you have.
Now,
If you choose not to believe it, that's your choice.
One of the things as a child that set me on my quest to try to start to gather a lot of knowledge is that one thing I found in the church that was contradictory was the injection of science and logic to incorporate if God has a plan, he would use science and logic. So if you actually envision the creator as the ultimate time master who sees alternate path lines, no one's path is set in concrete. Their way, God actually sees every possible variation. And that's the way I began to look at it. You can have free will, but it's going to see you on a different diversion. And you're going to, just like we talk about time travel.
Right.
The creator would have present, past, and future all on a blueprint.
For 7 billion people.
Right. So every deviation you make will cause a different timeline or a different path. So your free will is the application of when you're faced with a choice. Now that time, present, and future all are in existence at the same time.
so you're saying basically saying that God planned for you to do everything.
Right,
It
God
is your-
planned for you to have those choices to choose which path you want to take. Like he said, the timeline he has all the time. If you chose to stay at piece of candy, if you did not still choose to stay at piece of candy.
If you steal this piece of candy, this is what's going to happen to you.
Even with that being said, right? If all these choices are there and he knows you're still going to choose the one that you choose, he knew it before. I can present you with a billion options, but I already know you're going to choose this one. I know because I'm God. Yes, I know that it is possible in all the realms of reality that you might choose this. It's a possibility, but it's not really a possibility because the plan says I'm going to have you choose this. Once again, is that actually a choice?
Oh, but that's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is, we know for a fact this soda can is sitting on this table.
Okay.
While it's sitting here, all those molecules are moving. It's one slight variation in atmospheric conditions, our gravity changes this can float. That doesn't stop the fact that we set this can right here.
Yeah.
It's a possibility it could happen. If there's a blueprint of everything you were going to do, he knows what all the outcomes are. He's not saying that this is the only path. I know all outcomes of what you're going to do.
So what you're saying is that there's a blueprint. There's a blueprint. We're not even much going to say a blueprint. There's a schematic.
Yeah.
And on that schematic, you can get to a point on that schematic, and it's supposed to do this. However,
No, not supposed.
it's possible. It's highly likely that it should be this. But in case it doesn't do this, in case that 24 volts doesn't go to this straight fucking line, I have 3 other freaking options for these 24 volts to go. And all 3 of those other options, that 24 volts does something completely different and comes back to that line. That's pretty much what you're saying.
No. Imagine it like this. You have a perpendicular set of lines on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Each 45-degree will add up to 360.
Yeah,
But if you keep making lines infinitely small within that perpendicular sector, it's going to go on forever. But you still have 4 intersections. So if you look at it from the aspect, and I'm not just saying I'm just saying it's the creator. If something is created, it has an intended purpose. Now, we often use whatever we create for, whatever we want to do. The creator who made it, the perfect example, like Facebook. It was intended for a hookup. It got used for something else.
I thought it was a school.
Yeah. Nah, it was
No,
his purpose when he created it was so that college students could hook up.
Yeah.
But it got intended and now it's exploded into something else. I.e. our intellect or our creation, when you look at it as far as whenever somebody here is playing.
Ooh, the comments quiet today.
Yeah, awful quiet.
Yeah, you know, when you look at God's plan, his plan isn't set in concrete for you. There's nothing set in concrete. Everything has a possibility. He just knows all the possible outcomes. Because you can mess up my Rubik's Cube, I can fix it. You can mess it up, I can fix it. There is nothing within that cube, no matter who messes it up, that I can't mathematically look at it and fix it. That would be God.
But the problem with that is that why isn't shit fixed?
Yeah, why not fix it? I mean, you got people do the circuit.
I will based on Bible. It might not be Bible. Think about it. God originally gave us paradise. He wanted for nothing. He didn't even have the need to have knowledge. Once again, I don't understand why would he even put the seed of knowledge there if he didn't want us to eventually have it. Why place the temptation there? What's the purpose? It's one, but here's my thing. The thing is, if that is the case, right? God has already given us paradise, and he saw that we could not function. The Matrix. Remember the Matrix?
Yeah.
The very first when Smith or whoever the I can't remember who it was explaining how the old guy, the white guy in the suit, he finally got to the room, explaining to him how the Matrix works. The first few Matrices, this is like the so-and-so iteration. The first one, we gave you paradise. Everything was working fine. Everything was perfect. Human mind could not conceive perfection. So we lost entire crops. Because the human mind couldn't conceive. You can't function in a state of perfection because we are imperfect creatures ourselves. So an imperfect being can't function in a state of perfection. Perfection, want for nothing, need for nothing, kicked out, even no longer exists, flame sword, all that other good stuff. Now you must suffer toil land, have babies, blah, 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 live life with all the problems, blah, 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 if you're going to subscribe to that news.
But then you know that was going to happen.
Well, I mean, I can't see, once again, I can't see how he didn't know it was going to happen if he made me. Like, okay, if I got 5 2-year-olds, right? And I make a little playroom area for them. Right. And in the middle of the playroom, I take candy. Kids like candy. Cupcakes. Something that makes mess. Cupcakes. I take a table of cupcakes. Sit that table of cupcakes in the middle of their little playroom. Now, on the outskirts of the playroom is every toy imaginable that a kid can think of, right? Right. So you won't need the one thing that you're not supposed to touch in the middle of this room of perfect everything are these cupcakes. Now there's candy all around the wall, there's soda, there's all. You want a cupcake in the middle of the room. You can't touch it. Leave 5 kids in the room. And you just watch. Like he did. You just watch it. And then you wait. Because, hell, we all know every last one of us here is parents. You take 2 2-year-olds, put them in the room with a cupcake, and leave one of them motherfuckers gonna eat that cupcake.
They're gonna grab the candy too, but they're gonna go get that goddamn cupcake.
Yeah.
Are we still on?
No, we good.
So, we, Adam and Eve, and perhaps were given perfection with the cupcake in the middle, and left alone with Big Brother to watch. Big Brother sat there and watched, and of course, what happened? Before too long, one of us ate the cupcake. And once one of us ate the cupcake, we was all eating cupcakes. Because you put a room full of 2-year-olds, if one of them does it, nobody doesn't say anything, next thing you know, all 5 of them got goddamn icing all around their mouth and on their hands. Same difference. So, how could he not know You put it there. You made the plan. This is all your idea. You put us here. You made us. You gave us the soul, the minds that we use, and all the capabilities. You knew that I was going to be, or what abilities I had the moment I was thought of in your cosmic scheme of perpetual life. Because we grow, we make children, a small copy of ourselves, then we die. Our children grow, same copy or with a little bit different ingredients, another copy of ourselves, and die.
But there are two elements about that that also I've been researching massively. One of the first acts of free will was the incorporation of the devil. Because remember, they didn't make that decision to go to the fruit without some influence. It wasn't automatic. Okay, I see that, because that wasn't on the tree there. There was also the tree of life there.
Yep.
But it was chosen to get that knowledge by the devil because he knew that would be the one thing that would cause
y'all couldn't touch the tree.
Right.
He didn't say that.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. It was that one element of, if I give you the knowledge so that you can not be perfect, because that's what makes us imperfect, the knowledge of self. The moment we became aware and wanted to seek knowledge, or anything else for that matter, and understand anything, the temptation element was provided by the devil or Shaitan or whatever any of the other religions call them, demons, devil, whatever. There was an influence, an outside influence that caused perfection to come.
But what if that wasn't the devil's doing?
Right. Like, no, I'm saying he didn't make him do it. He just suggested.
No, but see, the devil's sole purpose, was just to punish the wicked. He didn't choose that job. God casted him out. So why would he go and bring forth temptation?
Okay, check this out. From all of the other readings I've done in Aramaic and Hebrew, the devil actually stepped to God with a context. He approached them from the jump and said, hey, I guarantee you I can make them do bad. And he laid the gauntlet down, and that was his reason for expunging.
But why would he must take
The
that
moment
challenge?
the moment God introduced humans, that is when Satan, the devil got jealous and was like, yo, I bet one thing, I bet I can make him do wrong. And he was like, all right, man, you and your buddies, y'all spend the rest of eternity trying to influence that. Now, this is just from most of the readings I read in Aramaic or Hebrew.
But then,
That was where the gauntlet was laid down, is when we actually were recreated, because that wasn't the first time. Even when you read the Old Testament and the New Testament, it says replenish.
but didn't you see that coming?
Okay, see that this is where it gets real fucked up
Yeah.
at. Because now notice what you just said. We was recreated.
Yeah.
So the soul manifests itself.
That's what I'm saying. It's a before we're unaware of. I'm saying from the readings I've read, there's a before that I'm still not able to access. And my question trying to figure out what's going on.
There was another crop.
Right.
Prior to this.
Yeah, and the Bible even tells you that when you first read the first couple chapters, it refers to stuff in plural. Like we, our image. It says our image. So who is our?
That also goes back to what I was saying earlier.
In the moment I read that first chapter in the Bible,
Could be the extraterrestrial intelligence which would be that civilization, because okay, everything we know about science is, we can try to dispute science, but science will be proven with math.
Yeah.
Anything that can be proven with math is pretty much, at least by our level of knowledge, pretty much infallible, because math is everything, right? We all agree on that. Math is everything. Nothing happens without math, right? Gotcha. So, with it being we or R, that would be for civilization to come from wherever it came from. So we figured out how that technology would work. Wherever it is, because there ain't nothing close enough to us. Nothing that we know. It could be on the dark side. For all I would leave somebody out there to watch.
Yeah.
I would do that. Anyway. That is a whole culture that came down here and influenced us. And let's let's look at the way the world works, right? We got Americans over there, we got Americans here, Africans over there, we got South Americans, we all believe we all have different cultures. How we don't know that civilization that came, like the Americans went to Africa, and the alien Americans are Africans, and the Spanish Americans went to Spain, South America, so on and so forth, which would be we are, which should also explain why all the depictions of God from every various culture is different, but a lot of the, and not even all the supposed powers are the same. You know what I mean? Like, so that's explaining, like, okay, we were saying, like, okay, we have cell phones, China has cell phones. Our cell phones aren't exactly the same, right? Some of our cell phones can do things, some of their cell phones. So some of their technology and the Spanish aliens could do some things that some of the technology the African aliens could do. We are blah blah blah, it all ties together. It kind of explains what I was saying earlier. Same difference.
All right, we got a comment from Miss Whitfield that's watching.
Hello, Miss Whitfield.
Hello.
She say that's the reason for free will. God knows his children. He knew his children would seek truth, and God is the author of truth. We honor him in spirit and truth. How do y'all feel?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Once again, that's where we will come. He's giving you the option to see what who knows what that truth is. What you're researching may be a bunch of bullshit ass ways, but you don't know that.
Very good possibility.
And that's the possibility. He's giving you that will to look for that truth. He's giving you the option to search to find what you want to believe.
And then in that itself, it would put you, like for instance, what I'm saying. One of the things that I knew for certain when I was young, the first time I had Black History Week, I saw a picture of Martin Luther King in his office. And I saw the Torah, the Quran, and the Holy Bible on his desk. And I was like, even if MLK can search for truth in alternate books, why am I just told that I can only do this? If we were seeking truth, it would set you on a path to understanding. If you're seeking truth and looking for spirituality, and it's something that actually connects all of us. And we know energy can't be destroyed, it only transforms.
Right, different thing.
Pause. 76ers just traded Jimmy Butler to the Heat for Josh Richardson.
I don't even think that means it.
Breaking news
I'm
on.
just saying that trade has little.
That-
trade has little value for either team, to be honest.
Actually, it has very little value for Jimmy Butler.
But don't nobody want to play with Jimmy. That's fair. That's what's happening. Jimmy Butler being hit.
I think that's what it is. I don't think nobody, he's not a team player at all.
All I'm saying is Dicks have won championships.
So free will to decide.
And see, that's, he's giving you the opportunity to see that. Who knows what that truth is? Who knows what you're going to find that you didn't? Maybe what you're finding is not the truth. You see what I'm saying?
Well, what I'm finding, because really, what I search for is a truth. I search for that because I realize that I haven't been given.
Right.
So I'm trying to find.
But once again, everything you're searching for has been manipulated by a man, one way or the other. Everything.
Yeah, at some point, yes.
Right. So how do you know what you're reading is true? You don't, but you have the option to look at, to believe what you choose to
Because the
believe.
things that we are searching for, you normally also find things that corroborate said evidence.
Once again, it has been manipulated through time
Okay.
by man. You get to choose what you want to believe.
We got one more.
That's the free will in it. You choose
Well,
what you
okay.
want to
Hold on.
believe.
Okay.
We got one more from Miss Parker. She say, but what is the truth? She say, but what is the truth? Why is the truth? And what is the reward for the truth?
The truth is, when you're in discovery of trying to understand what makes you you, what makes good, what makes bad, that quest Chris is on, that quest I'm on, the quest you're on, the quest you're on. Does your quest actually make you a better person? Does it help you discover who you really are?
Yes, it does.
That is true.
That's
Because that energy that's in you is going to be existent even after this shell decays.
yes.
So that journey, while we have consciousness in a physical container that was created by two people, they actually created a container, having sex, to put a spirit and energy inside of it. That truth that you seek, your truth may be some bullshit.
Y'all just lost
Y'all just lost
Horford.
Horford.
Going to the Sixers, which is gonna make
4
the Sixers
years, 100 and
immediately a step better. If it's
Yeah.
nothing else.
And that's the kick. A person's truth may be they just an evil bastard. It is what it is.
That's your
No
truth.
matter what they do or how much they try to study and pray, they just gonna be a piece of shit. It is what it is.
Okay, back to what it was. How do we know that the truths that we are seeking, the things that we have found out, are true? Well, one, things that we are finding out are the things that are filling in the hole of what we are missing. So one as wait. Let me get there. Like, okay, I can verify that we are in existence in every other place. I can verify. It can be verified. It has been verified. The tolerances, the mathematical genius, and the abilities that they had to construct certain things that we to this day can't do with all our knowledge and technology. That we're supposed to be way smarter than the people that came before us. We can verify the things that we knew existed and we were destroyed by other men because they didn't want us to have it. We can verify that the people, the places of power right now today are withholding information from us because they don't want it. And we can also verify that, let's say God was the aliens that I'm talking about, or some type of colonization, right? What happened? Everybody believed in different gods, and everybody was fighting all the time. So to cut down on fighting, what it meant to
Well,
the man of power,
the
the man of
Catholics
power said,
kill them all.
no, not even that. There will only be one God. Our God is the superior God. If you worship any other God, destroy it.
Once again, that's the choice that you have to believe.
But those things happen. That's verifiable fact.
You see your truth, you follow what you want.
But okay, the question you asked me though was how do I know that the things that we are seeking are true? And what my answer is, the things that we are seeking and the things that we are finding are verifiable things. So that's how we know the things that we are seeking and the things that we are finding are true.
Right. So that's what you choose to believe, right? Wait a minute. Because I can sit here and argue with you, I would be wrong. But I can sit here and argue with you and say, that's bullshit. That's not true. That's not what it is. You see what I'm saying? I have that choice to argue with you about that. And you can sit here and lay out facts, but if I choose not to believe it, that's my choice. That's what it gives you. It gives you that choice to seek the truth that you're looking, that you're finding, to fill in the holes that you're filling in, and it gives you the choice. You can find all that and say, okay, I don't believe none of that mess neither. You see what I'm saying? You have that option to believe what you're finding, or to say, nope, I'm gonna go this way right here. You have that choice to believe. You have, number one, you have that choice to seek that truth. Number two, you have the choice to believe what you find. That's that free will that God has given you. You see what I'm saying? Now you can choose to go to church and not even crack a Bible and believe what some preacher is telling you every Sunday. You see what I'm saying? Or you have the choice to crack the Torah, the Quran, and the Bible and go to Egypt, look at the pyramids. You have those choices.
But you know what? I think there's one aspect of all of this that everybody, no matter where you stand on your line of what the religion or how you're going to look at religion, the one little aspect of it that everybody has with it is their faith about it. You know what I'm saying? So your faith is what actually makes your religion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have your faith about the facts, right? He has the faith about what he's been taught.
I have faith in God.
He has the faith about what he's studied.
Right.
He has the faith about what he feels and believes about it. I have the faith of, I don't know.
'Cause I want to bridge something you said in response, because that question has been posed to me like you posed it to Chris. Now I'm gonna bring what Chris said, and the core of what he's saying, I have a better explanation because I feel the same way. Now, remember how he said before there was a time when mass communication was a thing and boats and people sailed, there were entities within every culture, whether it was physical or metaphysical, that everybody identified with.
Okay,
Without
so
being able to talk. Now, if you study all of those things, they're going to give you the truth.
so let me ask you this. So if you believe scientific, right? You believe that everything Earth was one mass at one point, right? Right? So that's scientific. That can be proven. You can prove that all of the continents were once together, right? So why can't everybody in that one continent have that one religion? And then once it's split, that's where you have all the same stuff in different places.
And compile it, that's where the truth lies.
Right. And that's, you have the choice to believe that truth or not. You have the choice to seek that truth or not. God gives you that choice.
But I think where religion goes wrong is one sect of that entity says I'm right and you wrong.
I believe where religion goes wrong is that the people who follow a religion don't seek that truth.
Just like I said, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual.
I think the fault with religion is you got these priests out here goddamn playing with these boy booty holes and shit like that. Motherfuckers goddamn condone that goddamn shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't motherfuckers sit there and condone that shit. You don't. That's where the fuck religion done went wrong and shit. Motherfuckers killing in the goddamn. No, they don't do that.
Let me say this. All right.
I'm sorry.
No. Going on with that on some real shit. All right. We can agree. Two dominant religions on this planet are what?
Roman Catholic.
Well, no, it's not necessarily Roman
Okay.
Catholic. It's Christian. Because Catholic is still Christian.
Right.
They try to distance themselves.
Selves from
Catholics are still Christians.
Right.
And Muslim.
No. Well, it's known as the Muslim religion is known as a religion, even though it's a study. So
Yeah.
you have to count it as a religion because people call it religion. So the two most widely known theologies are Christianity and Muslim. I think Muslim is bigger than Jews.
They must be.
But see, but it's not Muslim, it's Islam.
Well, you know what I'm
Okay,
saying.
yeah.
So, what people know it as is Muslim, is Islam. But I think there are more Islamics. I think Islam is bigger than Judaism.
Yeah.
But Judaism is still there.
It would be
Yeah.
in the top three. I said the top two most known.
Okay.
Yeah, most known.
But all Judaism is old school Christian.
Right. That's all they are. Right.
I
Right.
mean, they fight, and once again, they fight about that just like Catholics and Christians and Jews. We fight about how you worship the same exact God.
Yeah.
And Baptists, for that matter.
Yeah.
We all fight over how Methodists, all those different denominations that are
It's something that
worshiping
man made
the
to say,
same God.
okay, I choose to do it this way. I'm a Methodist. I choose to do it this way. I'm a Christian. I choose to do it this way. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I choose to do it. That's some man that took religion and twisted it. I choose to do it this way. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. That's something man created out of what God created. You see what I'm saying? I believe God created one religion. Man got hold to it, and just like man do it, everything else, take it however they want to.
But what if it wasn't supposed to be religion?
And right,
What if it was supposed to be that question?
You ever seen Dog?
Right.
You ever seen Dog?
yes.
Yes. Good movie.
Everybody.
Very
If
good.
you haven't seen Dog, we'll watch Dog. As funny as it is, it raises some very
Very good
pertinent
questions.
Because Chris Rock played Jesus. No, not Jesus.
Yeah. What?
Was he Judas? No.
No. He had a
No credit for him in the Bible. And he said in that movie, that's where y'all got it wrong. It's not, there is no religion. It's just the way it is. Y'all came down here, y'all put all these restrictions.
Man did that.
Yes, that's
So
what I'm saying.
once again, you have that choice to seek the truth. And you have that choice to follow what you choose to believe. God gives you that choice. That's where free will comes in. He know what you're gonna do, but he's not gonna sway you one way or the other. He's gonna let you pick your path, and when you see him, you have to atone for the path that you chose to take.
And I will be honest, I was raised in church. I did my 11:30 to all day. Sometimes 8 a.m. to all day. Sometimes 7:30 a.m. to all day. Depending on what time Sunday school started and what church program was going, I was baptized as a Baptist, all that good stuff. And I believed all of that for most of my life. And when to be honest with you, right around the time that Tom Hanks movie came out, Tom Hanks in 95, they only have 2 about related. The Catholics tried to shut that movie down.
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci
Vinci
Code.
Code
Yeah.
came out. I was
They had
like,
3 of them.
what the fuck? I wonder if any of this is real. I wonder what this is. Again, art imitates reality. I wonder what this is based on. So, after I watched that movie, I had a million questions. And I started searching. And in my searches, I've been brought to a whole bunch of conclusions. It is hard to not think that, again, what we know as our creators, how do we know, just based off the scientific evidence, that they are ascertained? And you can pull from both that scientific knowledge and the things from the Bible, just like what Greg said earlier. This is a reiteration. How do we know the Earth wasn't just a petri dish of the universe? We have different species. We're trying to see what's going to work and what's not going to work. And they test that all out here. We're the big experiment. Right.
Well,
when they set us off in the far corners of the universe, we're not near any other any other civilization.
Well,
we're light years away.
we already
We were never given the technology to get any further. And think about it, the one time that we know as mankind that we did possess the technology, they went somewhere, they landed, them motherfuckers came back and never went again. And now you ask them, with all the things that we know, they went to the moon with less than what we all hold in our hands. Yep. Somehow they forgot how to go back. They destroyed the technology of how to land. They can't recreate the technology that we now hold, because it's not even our phone. It was the technology that you could go and get in a what's the name?
Radio Shack.
A calculator. It was that amount. Your standard scientific calculator today, it was probably not even that much.
It wasn't.
It wasn't even that much.
That's still too much. That's still too damn much.
Rockets are explosions. All they needed to do was modify explosions in a tube that would withstand the pressure.
That's it.
Those two things took all the math and scientific technology that we could muster, and we mustered it. We went to the moon. They went around that backside. When the problems happened, they went around that backside. We lost all communication, which they knew. I mean, remember, they knew they
knew was going to lose it.
But we didn't know what was going to be found.
And I feel like John was over there and said, "Get your
Don't bring your ass back up here.
Sit your ass
down there, or we gonna
We doing what the fuck we doing up here. Y'all mind your damn business.
And
We'll fuck y'all up.
how we know, because think about it. One thing, there was a space race, right?
right."
America, Russia, China, all the major
We're shooting rockets out there.
rockets. We were all
Everyone,
racing to get
somebody
the moon.
wants.
Like the motherfuckers were
All
firecrackers.
of them. Stop.
So hey, nobody get back to the moon.
Nobody has tried to go back. They made our little space station, and it's in our orbit.
Right.
It
It
ain't
ain't
go
nowhere
nowhere.
close to
Don't
the moon.
nobody go past it. And they said that the next closest thing we think about is we might
Go to Mars.
go to Mars.
But that's all I was about to say.
But we ain't gonna get to no damn Mars. As soon as we get past that moon,
They
somebody
go,
gonna
they
speak.
gonna turn us around.
Did we tell y'all monkey asses?
And
Stay
see,
your ass down there.
I believe like that. If all this
Keyword
shit
on
was
monkey.
space, you feel like that we the only ones here. Damn fool.
Now I refuse. Once again, there's too much documented things that we didn't do, things we were not capable of doing, and they were happening, and they have happened, and we still can't explain. So either it was one, some kind of other intelligence, or two, some kind of supernatural, one of the two, or a combination, because honestly, we don't know all the fabric of reality. We
Because
don't
once
know.
again, man is manipulating what they want you to know. Just like from the beginning of time, man Some man is picking, okay, they don't even know this, throw that to the side. Man is manipulating what you want to know. And your quest for the truth is what God gives you. He gives you that option to seek that truth. Now, if you fuck around and get too far, somebody gonna knock at your door.
No, I'm not gonna. Nobody gonna knock my door on this.
Yeah. Right.
That
Yeah.
too. That too.
Now that's always one thing I try to reconcile during my areas of study. For the hardcore believers in the Bible, it tells you and addresses the fact that this is it. So I've often had a question as to why does religion try to keep us in space? Because let's not forget, before the mission to Mars was approved, they had to go through the Catholic
They had to go
Church.
through that.
Mhm.
Yes, they had to.
Had to.
They had to get permission.
And you notice we ain't left yet. Ain't nothing been made yet. All you ever see is some videos of what
Your
things
boy,
could
what
be.
your boy from Virgin made his rocket where he at now.
And matter of fact, let me throw something else at you. A lot of the pictures you see on Mars, right? Or that we have been led to believe on Mars. A lot of those pictures are Arizona desert, shot in a different color. And they've gone back and proved it.
Just change the hue.
Because how many people can go and remember and memorize a specific rock in the middle of the desert? How would you know? How would we know how a rock in our desert is any different from a whole desert plain? And also, the perfect explanations of the perfect things. How do they explain the faces? That's it, no more.
But that was one method of control. Because when the Bible was rewrote in the Old Testament, one of the things it addresses major is trying to convince everybody don't try to go nowhere else.
Because we are all this.
We're all this here.
Think about it.
And that was the method that tried to put people in a box for space exploration. Because, like, you have different sects of people who believe in Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, but one predominant thought in Christianity is we are it.
We are alone.
We are alone. Ain't nothing else out there.
Everything that we
And I've
try.
often tried to ask most Christians that I interface with, why is it that you believe you're the only thing that exists?
And then why did he create all of that out there and put nothing else out there? We're in for the endless amount of space and all the known planets and whole other galaxies that you can see from right here with the average grade telescope. How in the world? Why would he just pick? Okay, well, in all this space, he could have just made one galaxy. All saying all right.
But in your quest for truth, how do you know some man didn't say, okay, this all y'all gonna read about is
That's
what's
what
here?
I'm saying.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have that man had free will to tell you everything. He chose not to.
Okay, I want to pose a question to the panel right quick. And I want to pose it to our viewers.
Listen up.
There is a possibility you can clone.
That's it, right? Definitely.
Oh
And
yeah.
if the Shroud of Turin is in fact the garb Jesus was wrapped in, what makes you think they ain't cloned Jesus
What, the dinosaur?
or anything else?
Or Hitler did that.
So what if you made a clone of Jesus?
And somebody in the back can say,
Boy,
hey,
I believe that if there is the actual creator, right, that would be the utmost of transgressions, and my team would have happened immediately.
yes.
If
That would be
anything,
an
if what
instant
what
war.
we have read,
That'd be instant war.
Yeah.
If what we have read, and heaven forbid, that's a whole other thing. Heaven forbid, okay, they do clone him, right? They clone Jesus, they're successful. Jesus is being raised somewhere, and at some point it becomes known. Now, every ideology on this planet is now ready to war.
Yeah.
Because now there is a proof of existence of Jesus himself, which if there's proof of existence of Jesus himself, they got proof of everything else that surrounds the Bible. And heaven forbid that entity mess around and perform a miracle, shit's going down.
Yep.
That would, honestly, how would we know? That would be because they said when he comes back, they didn't say how he's going to come back. When he comes back, that's the end.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you fuck around and call if you want to bring it in a little bit
You
back.
just right and quick.
You show up, oh, I'm back. I'm back. I don't know if I'm the original or not, but I'm back.
Oh shit, man, this is a couple years
Never
early.
snap.
Ooh, it's a couple years earlier.
Because when I was watching Discovering Jesus and they were all dissecting and getting the microbes and the DNA off of the straw and analyze it, at that moment I was like, somewhere, somehow, somebody probably messing around with his DNA once cloning became available.
But then somebody disappeared.
I have another question for you. So let's say God, extraterrestrials, whatever the creator was, right? So over time they were able to build all those things, create all those things, and use the energy. Let's also not remember, let's not forget that it has been discovered that they had energy usage
Mm-hmm.
in the pyramid. They don't know how the energy was created. They don't know how the energy was controlled.
They still trying to figure out how to duplicate it.
Definite energy marks in scientific precedent proven knowledge that they were broadcasting energy from those tips.
They don't know where it started from, and they don't know where it ended.
We know anyone with knowledge that it was broadcasting, and all the other ones are receivers and transmitters and receivers. They were broadcasting to each other,
Yeah.
and it's already been theorized that.
No, they don't know where the energy came
No,
from.
they
They don't know where the energy started.
Here's the question. Let's say God, creator, whoever it is, whatever you believe in, had granted when we were first made, we came back and decided to experiment, however you want to phrase it. That's when we were able to use all of our mind, all the abilities of our mind. And when they realized we've given them too much, they shut it back.
They realized we couldn't handle it.
Because once again, you're not going to tell me, even though, yeah, it was capable. Think about the sheer amount of time. Okay, it took them years and years and years to build each pyramid. Like each pharaoh normally would be well beyond his grave prior to his shit even being finished, right?
They start on it as soon as he's
90% of the time he's already buried in it before it's finished.
it is.
No, it's not already buried before he's finished. So think about it. They're moving because once again it's been proven that the rock that they use to build these pyramids is nowhere in the vicinity. I'm talking about miles, at least a good 50.
They had to run the shit up the Nile River against the current.
They didn't have enough wood to make nothing that can float to carry something that massive. There ain't no river on earth deep enough to carry such a weight
Right.
with a wooden float. Because you gotta remember, these single
But that's what I'm
stones-
saying. The theory is that they had to do it and take it up the Nile, but take it up the Nile against the current.
If you had full control of your mind and telekinetic things or something of that nature exists, that could easily be accomplished. And those stones could easily be transported and placed perfectly.
And for me, I often go, if Jesus was the perfect creation, which is real, and had the manifestation of being able to think food and it was there, if that same power was in the predecessor, they would be able to think stone and it would be there.
So once again, do we even actually know how long it took them?
Right.
I mean, if they had that ability, it didn't take that long.
30 minutes.
Yeah. And if you read the text, I've never conceived why the average person I talk to who labels himself a Christian to go beyond thinking outside of the metaphysical. Jesus was a manipulator of metaphysical according to the text you read. He can manipulate energy.
There are
That
stories
it is what it is.
all throughout the Bible
Right.
who had extra and extreme abilities. Samson and all these other folks who had extreme abilities who were able to do things that most people couldn't. And up to right now in this day, of course, normally you have to go inside some temple, go to China or somewhere like that, because those are the only people who really still train their bodies and minds to do things that our bodies and minds still can't do. It can.
We just done lesson.
I mean, like, okay, you can sit here and think it's fake, but we've all seen the video of that dude laying on the spikes. It ain't fake.
At all.
The dude gets stabbed in the neck with a goddamn spear.
I
That's
seen
fake.
it. I went.
It's
I
real.
seen it.
That's
My
real.
whole
They
2
train
eyes.
their body and their mind to be able to do that. That's just like, okay, let's take something just that looks simple, right? I've been to Japan. I've actually seen how the Japanese train. These people from the age of a small child start punching trees and shit. So, like, if you look at an actual martial artist hands, It don't look like hard. Why? This should be flat and
Mhm.
flat and tough because all they've done for years of their life is punch trees, right? Punch trees. And from trees it goes to sand. Sand it goes to brick. So on and so on. And they have trained their bodies and their minds to work in unison to do things that we seem to think are incapable of. And that's another question. Even though the Bible tells stories of how of these extraordinary people, how come it never details what all we can do?
Because I don't feel like man can help it if we do all that we can do.
Possible.
Because I was sitting in the VA waiting on medicine, posed to this guy. He was reading the Bible, and I started asking the question. And I told him, I just gave it to him in a roundabout way. I said, man, I know somebody who walk on water. And he sat there and argued with me for 30 minutes. Man, I don't believe that. I was like, you should. That's what's in that book.
Yep.
So that is the one thing that set me on my course for knowledge and understanding of spirituality and energy and just a whole concept. I only call myself a Muslim because that's just the word for me trying to understand it all. That's what that means. So when people ask me what I study, I just don't say Islam. I study a believer that there was one creator. And I always say Muslim because that was one of the first languages that was spoken. So I went before. So it's like, man, it's really deep. And I figured one thing about religion is once you claim to just have a religion, you put yourself in a container. I don't have a religion. I study everything. I'm willing to find out what you believe in if I see you a good person. Because I want to find out what makes you behave the way you do.
Absolutely.
Well, that was a very in-depth conversation that we had, and I hate to have to wrap it up, but we got to wrap it up. We got to get what's going on in everybody's brain. Mr. Mark, what's going on your gears today?
Oh shit.
Oh, it's not gonna be religion. I was gonna rail on religion. I've railed on religion. I believe
A whole 2 hours, yo.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the people out there kind of have an idea of what I believe. So we'll go back to a more practical. We'll go back to regular life. What grinds my gears?
The Chris Marsh way. Y'all
Our
motherfuckers.
very current society. What I mean by that, we live in a society right now where I could be walking down the street and see somebody getting murdered, see somebody drowning. Before I would think to help that person, the first thing I'm going to think of is grab my phone, try to shoot a video of what's going on. We live in a society where instead of being decent to each other, now it is the popular thing to get the likes, be mean, be disheartening, hope, wish for the worst to happen to people. And it's not just being petty because it's one of the most petty motherfuckers I know.
I am.
That's a true story.
It's that being degrading or being fucked up is the new normal. Like, fuck common decency, fuck respect, fuck all that. We live in a society where a person is talking to you. The only reason that they're talking to you is so they can, especially because now people don't necessarily talk. We all interact on social media more than anything. Yep. So we text. And people will live to text just to take screenshots and send them to other people to cause more drama and confusion. Just to be ugly people. We have become a society, like Ms. Cole said something earlier. We live inside of Livermore right now. Hell, I can't disagree with it because, like I said, as a goal, yes, there are still people out there who genuinely believe and want to do good things, but as a society as a whole, ugly people, we are ugly. We would rather be the worst than the best. We root for bad. If we see somebody being successful, the majority of people will wish for him to fall.
Or
When
her.
you see somebody, even sports, you see somebody winning, we hate that.
Fuck LeBron.
Fuck Tom Brady. Fuck Kobe. That nigga gay. Mom likes dogs.
And his sister has sex with mules.
But I mean, like, for real, thing that grinds my gears. Our society, and we look at it and we live within it, and it makes no difference. Like, you know, when we were coming up, for one, there was no social media, but okay, we had TV. TV was our social media. When things happened, they showed it on TV, but they didn't show everything on TV. You would have seen, like, okay, let's say this: people been getting their heads cut off in that other country for as long as there have been people. That's how they deal with things. They cut heads, hands, feet. They cut them shits off. That's how they deal with it.
Shit gotta go.
We've always known that that's been taking place. We've heard about it from back then. Would we ever see it? No. There was a common decency. There was things that prevented us from showing the stupid shit that we showed. But now, for one, the internet was invited. The internet was created. The creator saw that the government was going to take the internet and keep it for themselves and not share it to the people and use it to control us. So what he did was legal. He gave it to the people before they could take control. Now we have the internet. The internet is an unstoppable living entity all its own. And what the internet has done is help placate or help hasten the fact that our society is just ugly, because all the internet has done is given us an avenue to not only be ugly and mean, you can show your truest sense of who you are with very little repercussions. Like, people are now just starting to feel any slight repercussions of things that they say.
Yeah.
And even then, it's something that you had to say some really outlandish shit, and people had to be able to tie it to your job. Well, you can't have this job if you're doing that. Whereas before, you would have those same ideologies and nobody would know. But now people feel safe and secure letting that fucked up flag fly. And this is the society that we all have created. Now, the internet came to being in our life. Well, actually it came to being a little bit before most of us were born, but it became in use full time by the public in our life. Like I was in my 20s, my early 20s, and the internet, Yahoo and all that.
That means
shit
I was
popped up.
5.
Bitch, was like 15, 16. Your little ass was probably stealing some goddamn America Online free CDs out of people's mailboxes.
Nope, I was looking at goddamn Skinner-Mats through the wiggly lines.
Either way, the social media has allowed and perpetuated our society to become even uglier, and it's just going to get worse, because as long as we have it, it's just going to get worse. It can't be regulated. Yeah, they can put somebody, they can throw something, you can say something online and they don't like it, they can block that profile. We all know there's thousands of ways to go around that. You can go make another profile in 10 minutes. You block that one, you make another one. All you need is an email.
Just ask this guy.
You can create an email in the time it takes to snap your fingers. There's a million different ones. So they can't regulate it, they can't stop it, it's only going to get worse. And what's bad about it is now that our children are now raised in the internet age. So their morals and sensibilities are going to be just as fucked up. It's going to be just that much harder to raise a society. And because of that, I believe at some point, hopefully not in my lifetime, and hopefully not in my children's lifetime, but it's already the spearhead to the downfall, in my opinion. To the effects of the internet.
Hence, Terminator.
I give it 2 generations.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. March.
That is what grinds my gears. Put that in Piper's
Hey, that grind mine too.
Motherfuckers.
IQ. Take wise. What you got for us?
Can we take a shot?
Yeah, go ahead and take the shot. Yeah.
Well, we usually do this with the end of the show, but somebody needs it, so we're
We
gonna.
gonna wait till the end.
Oh, you get to wait.
I'm running this shit.
I asked
We
a question.
waiting.
I asked a question. I did not make a suggestion.
All right.
Okay.
IQ.
My take tip for this week.
Short black
Bro. Take time to actually start to understand security in regards to your computers. If you have Windows 10 on your system,
I do.
there is a default hole in it and they refuse to fix it. And they this week they said they're not going to shut the hole down where your remote desktop and desktop manager have a coding defect that will allow somebody who a geek like me to just take over your system. And I don't give a damn what kind of security you got on there. I'll take your fucking computer over because they left me a backdoor to get in it. Using VPN.
Don't take my porn.
You know, it's a difficult thing for me to try to tell people. Just because you have an antivirus on your system does not mean your system is secure. Just because you got Norton on there or McAfee or whatever you use, that's just to clean off viruses that they make a list for, a white list and a black list. And then once they understand it, they send you a patch to try to take the virus off. Relating to what Chris said about grinding his gears, you use the internet. But please don't forget there's a dark web that sits inside and coincides alongside what you view as you being able to really understand the internet. You have no idea what goes down on the dark web.
Whatsoever.
It's a whole different monster.
Mm-hmm.
Since these things are not regulated, trust me, the internet you use and you think your computer is secure because you got Norton on there, rethink it. I have a system in my house that I work on that has never touched online because it doesn't need to go online because it's not going to get infected with anything because I don't put it online. So if you have a system where you do certain things like art, music, whatever you do, whatever you use your computer for.
Not plans to destroy the world,
Right.
I hope.
Keep that computer offline. Never let it touch the web. That's the only way you're going to be secure. If your computer, your phone, your tablet, or whatever touches and reaches cyberspace, you are vulnerable. It is what it is. So if you're doing something you don't want nobody to know about, don't put it on your computer. It is what it is. You're not secure.
How am I gonna get my porn?
So, understand security better. During your trials and tribulations, take 5 to 10 minutes a day to read something and find out how to properly secure your system. Later this week, I'm going to send Ron the instructions of how to go in and manually cut off your remote manager inside of something called MS Config. This is like the guts. It's real easy. It's not complicated.
DOS.
Right, you have to use DOS, old school. You can go in there and cut off that manager where even if they get in that loophole, they just don't have the physical connection to cut on your remote manager and take over your computer. Because when they take over your computer, you will not know it.
Get it while you're in it.
They'll be in it while you're in it.
Watching what you do.
In it while you're not on it. You may think your computer's sleeping, but they ain't.
Hey, Cole got some big titties on his computer.
So that was my tech tip, and I'll send some instructions for Ron, because with me being me, my social and networking, all that kind of stuff,